Hi, my name is Jen. Welcome to my channel, All of My Plants. Today I am going to talk about some plants that I just wanted to kind of spotlight. Whether or not they're favorites, I'm just impressed with them lately, loving them. They've been growing well, whatever the case may be. I'm not going to dilly-dally, here they are. The first plant I wanted to mention is the Hoya Finlaysonii. I got this plant on Etsy, I think this past summer, and it did great. It was doing the most, but I chopped it because it was, it was one piece in the pot. Here's the plant. It was one piece in the pot and I wanted a fuller pot, so I chopped it to propagate it, and it didn't do anything. It just kind of sat there forever. But finally, here lately, I looked at it and it's got a little growth point. I'm so excited. At least one piece of it does. I think it's 3 cuttings in there. So now that it's finally doing something, I'm pretty excited. I didn't repot it after I chopped it to propagate it. I just stuck the cuttings right in the same pot that it was already in. And I don't know if that had something to do with it. Like, it was not root bound when I repotted it. I don't know what's up with it, but I did repot it, and since then, it's finally decided to grow. And I don't understand it. I do fertilize, so I don't know. But either way, I'm happy that it's growing. I think it's a beautiful plant, and I can't wait to see it do more. The next plant is my Philodendron Splendid. I got that plant, I think I also got that one last year, on either Etsy or Facebook from Woohoo Tropicals. Don't know if you've ever heard of it. But anyway, I got that. It was actually fairly cool when I got it, so I'm going to say maybe it was early fall. Late summer, early fall, somewhere in that neighborhood. I got it, and it was growing right out of the box. No problem with it. My issue with it was this plant is one of those ones that it will grow. There's no apical dominance. It just grows from everywhere. I don't know if all of them do that or if it's just mine. I started with one with about 3 leaves, and now I have one over there that you can't see, and one back there. I don't know if you can actually see it, but it's kind of in that cubby. I will put some B-roll in. I love it. I've got a bunch of them around. I've given some away, or well, traded some. It's everywhere. I don't think I appreciated its weird growth pattern very much because I kept chopping it. But I've gotten that one to kind of behave. The one over here still does whatever it wants. But it's a beautiful plant. It's beautiful. It's not really grabbing. I think one is on a pole and then the other's kind of on like a narrow plank. I'm looking at it in the background. But it doesn't really seem to grab, but it does seem to be slowly sizing up. Maybe? Question mark? I don't know. I love it. It's a beautiful plant. The next plant is my Philodendron Camposportonum. I love this plant. It's not one that was ever on my wish list, but I went to one of my favorite nurseries, and the guy who owns the place, he's like, oh hey, we got these Philodendron Camposportonums, and they grow well, they're fast growers. And I went and looked at it, and I was like, that's cool. Yeah, the price was right. So I took it home, and it quickly became a 5-foot tall plant. So I chopped it in half, and I put both pieces so they were kind of like supported by a plank. Both pieces in the same pot on the same plank. And the top cut didn't do anything for a while. It is now, but it didn't do anything for a while. It was just rooting, I think, because it was a longer piece with a handful of leaves on it already, and once again I stuck it directly into soil. Whatever aerial roots it had is what it had to rely on until it actually grew soil roots. So, point being, the plant has taken off. That piece is finally growing, and I've just noticed that it's actually starting to grab the pole a little bit. My only concern is it's already near the top of this little plank that I have it on. So I might get a few more leaves before I have to repot it and give it an even taller pole and pull it off the one it's on. I might just strap 2 of them together, like, with the extension behind, and we'll go with that. I don't know. I'm not sure what we're going to do there yet. I don't want to pull it off, not after it's done so much work to finally start actually attaching to the wood. You can see from the B-roll, it has matured a bit. Even before it grabbed, the leaf shape was changing. So it's, you know, it's going to be what it's going to be, pretty much, I think. The next one is my Hoya Crimson Queen. Hoya Carnosa Crimson Queen. I think. I really like this plant. I've always liked this plant. I've had this particular one forever. It came in a small, maybe 3-inch nursery pot. Maybe 2 or 3 years ago. I'm not 100% sure. But it just got out of that nursery pot. It was not root bound. The soil was drying very quickly. Most of the time, I'll repot a plant if it's not growing, if it's, you know, if something seems wrong with it, whether it's root bound or not, I'll repot it. Sometimes in the same size pot, sometimes larger. This, I repotted it into a, I don't know, maybe a 5 or 6 inch, probably 6-inch pot, and trellised it. And it's growing all over the place finally, because it really hasn't grown much over the past couple years. I don't think at all really since I got it. Until the last, I don't know, week or two, however long it's been trellised. So it's doing really good now. I'm really happy with it. It's a beautiful plant. It's always been a beautiful plant. And I think having it on a trellis will help this plant reach its potential a lot better than it was in a 3-inch nursery pot, just kind of looking all floppy. So it's a pretty plant, and I'm happy with it now. It's looking real nice trellised. The last one is the Philodendron Biliate. This plant, it's small. It doesn't look like much, I know. I got this one from Patch of Nature on Facebook. And I got it, I want to say it was February of last year, so a little over a year ago. It came perfect. It was beautiful. Right out of the package, it started growing once again. And last summer, I took it and put it out in the greenhouse. I was like, oh, okay, cool. You know, it'll love the sun and the warmth out there. And it did. I may have mentioned that I just go kind of willy-nilly with the garden hose out there. And I meant that. I do. Everything in there gets watered pretty much every day except for maybe cactuses and succulents because I set them off to themselves. But the Biliate was kind of sitting, it was in a 4-inch pot. I think it's back in a 4-inch pot now. But it was sitting near plants that were in larger pots, and I sprayed those plants longer to keep them moist or to water the pots or whatever. That plant really didn't need that much water, and I didn't really pay much attention to it until I noticed that the leaves were kind of looking a little droopy. I rotted the roots completely off that plant. I literally went, oh, what's wrong with this? And I went to like move it around and the whole plant came up. There were 0 roots on this thing. And it still had every leaf except for the one newest leaf. So I think it had 4 leaves still on it and a growth point that did not do anything until a week ago. Now all of a sudden I have a leaf and another growth point. So, and there's roots coming out of the top of the pot. It needs to be repotted. Hopefully, I don't do the same thing to it this summer and rot its roots away, because I really love this plant. It's those petioles, those orange petioles, the leaf margin. I just really like this plant. I think it's a tough plant. It's a fast grower. Like I said, I rotted the roots completely off, and I only lost maybe 1 or 2 leaves from it. But some of those leaves are still there, and they were shipped with some of those leaves. It was probably shipped with some of those leaves, I'm sure of it. So it's done really well. I just cut off, you know, what was obviously gone, stuck it back in soil, different pot, different soil, but I stuck it back in soil. I put it in this cabinet behind me, and I forgot about it. Pretty much. I kept it moist. I'm sorry, that's a terrible word. I kept it damp. So it's done well. I'm very happy with its recovery success story, right? So that's it. Those are the only plants that I can think of right now that are just like really blowing my mind with how well they're doing. So like I said, maybe not favorites, but definitely plants that I love and I appreciate, and I think they're all beautiful, of course. They're just impressing me right now because they're the comeback kid, or after a long time of dormancy, a year or more for some of them, I'm happy to see them doing well. And then other ones, they're just beautiful. they consistently do well. They consistently grow, and I thought maybe they deserved a moment in the spotlight. So thank you for watching, and come hang out with me again soon. Thanks. Bye.